Hello and welcome to round number 10, the season finale of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race 2022, season 1 of 2. Of course, this is the final of 10 rounds that we've had so far this year, with another mod, the Form 07 at Rockingham International Long. You're watching Sim Broadcasts. I'm Peter Butcher, and tonight, as ever, it's Eoin Harmon joining me in the commentary box. How are you this afternoon, Eoin?
Hi, Pete. I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking, and welcome to one and all of our viewers.
Let's get right along. Qualifying is underway and it has been for quite a while now. So here we are. This is the end of the season. Rockingham will be the stage for the final round, the 280th Rony's Tuesday Fun Race in Live for Speed. And the track, well, it's quite a good one. It's unfortunately at the defunct Rockingham International Long circuit, which is a bit tragic that this circuit no longer exists. It's a great venue. But it lives on in Live for Speed, and we get to enjoy its curves and bumps and the lovely implementation, the lovely laser scanned version of it in Live for Speed. Oh, and it's a great track. The drivers enjoy it a lot in various cars. How are they finding it with the Form 07?
From what I have heard and what I can see, this Form 07 is one of the most difficult cars ever conceived in LFS. It looks like an almighty handful where if you put one wheel wrong, you could end up straight on your side and into a roll, as well as what should be a benefit of slick tires is actually a little bit too much for this kind of car, and it proves very, very difficult to keep in a straight line sometimes.
Yeah, it was a loaded question. I know it's a handful. I've given it a go, but thanks for giving me your opinion. It is a handful. It's going to be a lot of fun. But here we are then, the 4.1 kilometre, 2.5 mile Rockingham International Long Circuit in Live for Speed. 17 laps of racing with this very, very tricky car. And, well, we've talked about it, but let's have a look at what characteristics this car has. It's rear-wheel drive. It has 1.4 litre inline-4 engine, just over half a ton, and it has 120 brake horsepower. So it's a lot of power for the size of the vehicle that it is. And shout out to Fangio86 and Gutholtz who've put this mod together in Live for Speed for our entertainment this evening. So, Owen, without any further ado, let's have a look at what's going on the track and see how qualifying is shaping up for round number 10.
Yeah, we got a section of cars coming around the start-finish line now, fighting for every section they can get. The space is going to be a premium here, even though Rockingham at 4.1 kilometers, 2.5 miles, nice and distance. And you can see an example there, car way off into a spin there, hitting the curbs way too hard. And 2.5 minutes to go. It means there's only really time for one more hot lap if you're starting from scratch here. You can see Gabor has pole position by 0.3 of a second over Fatal, representing Fragmasters. So there is just plenty at stake here. Championship for the half season is on the line here, so everyone wants to impress with their last chance for the summer break, Pete.
Yeah, I love this combination. This is an evil combination that's been suggested here today. This car is extremely tricky. I mean, not only does it look odd, but the handling characteristics are very, very quirky, and we'll get into that as we see some laps and see some drivers wrestle this car around the the circuit. Basically, the crux is avoid the sausage curbs like the plague. You have to avoid them in most cars anyway around Rockingham, but especially in this thing. If you touch a sausage curb, it's the end of your day, basically, Eoin.
Yeah, I can't put the scientific reasoning into why the car will just roll with any real force, but the rear engine, rear-wheel drive aspect certainly doesn't help. You're putting a lot of power down into the lightweight nature of it, but you're putting a lot of power and weight into the rear end of the car, so it's going to be slidey at low speeds, and the roof, I suppose, can lend itself to rolling if you're off balance.
Yeah, as we watch Leandro 911 absolutely gun it through the chicane and almost be collected by someone coming out of the pit lane. Oh boy, we are in for 17 laps of frantic racing. I think turn 1 is going to be a list of casualties longer than our start list. There's going to be some drama in there for sure. It's a very, very tight chicane at the speeds you take it, so a bit of a pinch point. But yeah, we are approaching the end of the session. We've only got 30 seconds left before we are on the final lap. So we'll have to wait and see who the final car across the line will be to start that lap. A lot of cars off the circuit. A few cars on the kind of the edge of the camera in the gravel. But here is Gabor. He has mastered this car so far. If you remember back to last Thursday, he didn't take part in qualifying. We see a car rolling off in the background. He started last and wiggled his way up to win the second race of the day. This time, Gabor's decided to do some qualifying and he's on pole. So let's see what he can manage today. Born to Race Ivor will be the final car across the line, Eoin. Let's keep an eye on him as well. But as we watch Gabor come around to finish his lap, let's get a bit of an interior shot of the Form 07 mod in Live for Speed. And look at how gentle he's having to be. This is a qualifying lap. Down the school straight and then hard right as we head down to the Gretton hairpin to finish the lap. Goodness me, you could hear the car becoming unsettled and going onto two wheels as he just touches the curb. On final braking zone down into this off-camber left-hander and then out onto oval turn number 4. So delicate you have to be. Over a couple of these little bumps that you have to navigate down onto the apron using all the track available to straighten his line to finish his lap. And here he comes. Let's see if he can improve on this final lap. And it was a 1:54.2, his best of the session. Let's see where Ivor is on the track. I don't believe Ivor has even set a lap in the session.
His last corner.
Yeah, so here he is. He hasn't set a lap in the session yet. He's just coming around the corner now to finish our session. Here he is. No, this is in fact Ivor. Here he comes to the line.
59.98. So it keeps him in 18th actually. Yeah, 156 was his best. So yeah, he's not on target for an improvement, unfortunately.
Yeah, so it will be Gabor who takes the pole position for our race. But let's do a full rundown of those order before we go through the all-important championship standings, because, of course, this is the final round of the season where all of the points we have on offer matter today. And Gabor, well, he's made a good start. 1:54.2, him ahead of Fatal on the front row, just 3/10 in it in the end. Then it's Rick Cardle, Vitatas Lagutskas, our championship leader. Then Young Tommy B in P5, Thamuli P6, Donny P7, Asker in P8, Ona in P9, and Kirill in P10. Then it's Unite on row 11 with Nex, on row 6 with Nex. Then we've got Lorenzo, Loco, Soini, Ivor, Migfa, and Lalarux rounding out our top 20.
Taking the second half of the grid is as follows: Much Macari, Pablo, Young, LG Meese, Lercy, Yaroslav Donalik, Jox, Leandro, Tim DC, and Fellimer from 21st to 30th. Then we have T-Bug, a very appropriate name for this kind of car, Yari Katila, Tatayam, Vina, Martin Kapal, 7-9, Richard, Anonymous SR, Ginger in 39th there, and then Michael as 40th and the last valid grid place.
Yeah, and on the unfortunate positions, P41 and 42 are Aesop the Ripper and Fireblade SC28, who may take the grid if other cars ahead decide not to take the race start. So I mentioned we were going to look at the championship standings. Let's do that just right now and see how the final race of this season is going to shape up between Lagutskas and Fatal. Everyone else is relatively out of the hunt. Unite might be able to do a bit of a shake-up, potentially Rickard as well, but this is how it stands. The Gutscas is our current leader in the championship, followed by Fatal, Unite, Rickardle, Arsker, Thamuli, Upsas, Yaroslav Donolik, Sidus Gabor, and Mandula in the top 10. It's going to be a close fought competition, this at the front, Owen.
Yeah, you bet. And the behavior of some of the drivers, or at least the mindset of drivers, will be altered with the fact that a champion will be crowned. Leguskas, his objective will be to finish in first. That will guarantee the championship. But if that's out of reach, then he has to bring out the calculator to decide how hard am I going to push to make sure I get all the points I need, but without risking an accident, either of his own doing or something happening in front of him that you can't avoid. So yeah, that will certainly bring in the pressure. But Fatal probably has a no win, no pressure sort of situation. He knows he's done well, but if he can get that title, it would mean a whole lot.
Absolutely. And yeah, we have lots and lots of results to go through here. 5 pages of results, in fact. But yeah, pretty much what you're looking for in the results of the championship is who finishes ahead of who, because there are very, very few points between drivers in the championship at the end of each race. 1 point between each position. So the position they finish on the road, it could be complicated, it could be straightforward for us to work it out. But such are the point system in RTFR that it is not always obvious what's going on between rounds. We'll try and do our best here in the commentary box to work out who wins at the end of this, and if it's trivial, then we'll be able to confirm that for you. If not, then we'll have to do that at another time. But yeah, this is the final page of results, and this is the final race before our summer break for RTFR. RTFR XL, of course, continues throughout June and July, but we will return to RTFR later in the summer for Season 2 of the main championship. So, well done to the 98 drivers who have managed to score a point in the first 10 races, or first 9 races of the season, rather. Owen, we don't have very long left until the start of the final, which is... it's going to be similar to the race we had with the Stratos inspired mod.
Yeah, it certainly will bring that rate of attrition. We saw a lot of drivers make it to the end in our previous race. That was Kyoto, I believe it was. Drivers were very, very good there. Yeah, even with the season opener with the Shark, that certainly brought the excitement. So I think this could be even more exciting for us to watch. And the drivers will be put through quite the test.
Yeah, so drivers can score a maximum of 26 points. So Fatal, Rickardle, and Co can still dethrone Legutskas if Legutskas has an absolute shocker. Unite can manage to win if no one else finishes. There's all sorts of permutations going on. Rickardle cannot win today. Fatal needs to be 7 positions ahead of Legutskas, or rather 8 positions ahead of Legutskas to win. So there we are. Legutskas has 4 more wins than Fatal, and therefore the tiebreak will be not enough for Fatal. Fatal has to win by a point in order to displace Legutskas in the championship. Thanks to Chris, for working that out for us. Well, with all that said, we still have to have a race on our hands. We still have to see who can actually convert this car into a victory. And it's easier said than done, that's for sure. This car is it cannot be said enough how much of a handful this is going to be. But yeah, what an event this is going to be today to round off what's been a nice season, a nice short season of racing, Owen.
Yeah, we've been going pretty much since the dawn of the new year. But we've reached the end of this season 1 of 2022, and there'll be hopefully some time for everybody to recharge the batteries and go again. And of course, the XL edition certainly will be carrying on. So enjoy the time off, but make sure you don't forget about XL if that's something you're interested in. So yeah, that'll be on Sim broadcasts as well. So stay tuned.
Yep, absolutely. And something else we've got coming up, of course, we've got the 6 hour next weekend, in fact, next Sunday. And sign-ups for that close on the 15th of this month. So in 5 days' time, you only have 5 days to put a team together for the 6 hours of Kyoto. More information about that on the Live for Speed forum, of course. Well. 1 minute to go before we see a field of 40 Form 07 mods fly down to the Turn 1 chicane here at Rockingham International Long. Before we get going for that race, let's take one quick last look at the specs for this car by Fangio86 in collaboration with Gutholz. I wish Gutholz would reply to my messages. Miss you. But he hasn't for a while. There we are. The Form 07, a 1.4 litre inline for rear-wheel drive, 641 kilogram, 120 horsepower racing car. Going to be fun.
Yeah, we'll see how it copes with the run down to the first chicane. It's a very narrow chicane. Surely single file is the only way to go, but someone somewhere will go for the opportunity, and it'll either pay off handsomely or it'll be the end of the race.
Yeah, a lot of drivers are complaining about it, and they think that Turn 1 could be the difference between winning this and being out. It is as simple as that. The chicane here is often bypassed, but Rony has been particularly cruel and has left it in, so the drivers have to navigate it in a very, very difficult machine. But we love it here in the commentary box. We like a bit of drama, we like a bit of a shake-up at the end. The only thing is it means we'll have to do a bit of calculation at the end to work out who's going to win Season 1 and who will take away the prize money that is on offer. Generously sponsored, of course, by World Class Lions. And yep, same prize pool is available for Season 2. And, well, get your hands on that in Season 2 by turning up on a Tuesday afternoon to the RTFR server in Live for Speed. Thanks for joining us. It looks like the drivers are getting ready in the background, so we're going to be going racing in just a few seconds' time. Around my favourite environment in Live for Speed. Rockingham is a real treat to drive in LFS, especially in virtual reality, which LFS does so well. Particularly good in the FBM, the Formula BMW car. So if you've not already tried it, grab S3, jump in Rockingham in an FBM or something of that sort, or grab a mod. Why not? Why not grab the Form 07 and try out the sausage curves? Guaranteed fun for all the family. The drivers are now readying up, and we are gridding. Let's go, Owen. For the final time in Season 1.
Bring on these last 17 laps of Season 1. A new champion will be crowned. It's not going to be a Team Silas driver unless something extraordinary happens. So good luck, everybody. See how we get on here. More history being made in LFS, in RTFR in particular. A mod start of the season, a mod will end the season. Here we go. Long hold, but they're away. Big tires should mean a fast getaway here. Gabor will consolidate his lead. Watching out now for the first chicane. Drivers look to have been on their best behaviour. But the Dean hairpin is where the real test will be. Have a roll in the background. Oh, significant accident at the back.
And significant accident at the front as well as we get cars piling into each other. We've got a roller. Who is that that's rolled on the out? That's young Tommy B has rolled it on the outside of turn number 1. Donny was backwards as well. We've got more cars spinning into reverse through the first corner. So drama already. As we expected, turn 1 was bound to be a bit of trouble, but it is a great start from Gabor, and it is a great start as well from championship protagonists Vitautas Lagutskas and Fragmasters Fatal in the top 4 Owen. They've broken away a lot from the rest of the pack. This is a good start from these guys, and we have a championship fight on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Lagutskas P2, Fatal P3.
Yeah, Lagutskas gaining 2 spots, but the drivers first to 4th here should be separated enough at Tarzan hairpin to avoid any enormous dive bombs. But from 5th downwards, we're going to see someone going for it. Someone, for example, I think that might be Lorenzo. Yeah, it is.
Go on Oscar.
Had to go, yeah.
Making the move. In fact, he's made the move stick. And I think I was watching the MRC Turbo UF1 Turbo Cup the other day around Rockingham, and Gabor was winning that. In fact, he won that. Well, he's converting his love of Rockingham to this car now, as the Gutscast runs very wide. He's got to be very careful, in fact, of those cones and the sausage curb. Yaroloko's rolled it from a very high position. He's currently held at the end of the Gretton hairpin, just waiting to see if anyone else can roll him over. But I think that's game over for Yaroloko. That's a shame. He was pretty high up. Someone's...
Lallaroo wanted to give him some help, but not enough. It's just too slow around that corner.
Yeah, there's a car rejoining out of the pit lane, as we've got a couple of cars trying to navigate them, as Rony then... Oh, goodness me, 3 wide through the chicane almost. Contact in the rear. Cars...
Oh, gosh. Launched into midair. That's Pablo.
I mean, there was a car parked sideways on the grass just at the exit of pit lane. I'm not sure why that was there. Absolutely should have removed itself from the race.
Kirill is still on the racing surface, so yeah, Kirill needs to spectate ASAP.
Yeah, right in the middle of the track, and absolutely needs to get his car out of the race. That's not really sporting, is it? You know.
And Anonymous has rolled it as well. That's the Brook corner, I believe, or just before the Kirby.
That's Kirby, yep.
Yes.
That's just before the Steel Straight that he's rolled that. But out front, there is no issues so far for our top four. Unite's having a go, trying to make up some places. Unite is still in the hunt, just. Mathematically, he's still in the hunt for the championship, but it's a very tall order. 3 wide as we head down into Tarzan. And Unite trying to make this stick on the inside. But we're not really sure of the handling characteristics of this car through the hairpins necessarily in racing conditions, but Unite's pulled that one off as they head down the school straight. We've got LG Meese on Lurcy for position, and he backed out of it. Lurcy takes the position. Oh goodness me.
Touch the grass. Is something wrong?
Yeah, no, he's just trying to recover the car, and Meese is running to the back of him. A lot of cars running into the back of each other here. And is that Yaroloko still sideways on his
still
side?
Has.
Yeah, he needs to get that car out of the track. There we go, he's gone now. Tantus Lagutskas opens the gap up on Fatal, which is exactly what he needs to do if he wants to have any chance of winning this championship today. Owner.
Kega spawn. And that's Nex, who has crashed at the first chicane as well. But Nex can carry on. A significant dent on the roof.
More cars flipping at turn 1, Owen. Sorry to interrupt. Something happened with the Gutsgas, we think. Ono and Aska going side by side once again, and Thamuli involved here too at the back. So nice squabbles going on up and down, but a lot of attrition. Still 31 cars remaining, amazingly. Some of the drivers rolling, but then
there's contact. Much Macari and Leandro had a collision at Chapman. It was Chapman, and Sliney's off the road as well.
Oh goodness me!
Yeah, nearly rolled it.
Here we are with Jox, who's having some entertaining battles down in the end of the top 20, and so is Unite, who is in a bit of a fight with Migfa from I forget what FRT stands for. Goodness me, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's an old team. It's an older team, but it checks out. Fastest lap for Gabor last time round, as he comes up to the start-finish line, some 2.5 seconds ahead of Lagutskas. Then it's Fatal. Rick Cardle, some way back in P4, but then there is a bit of a void to Lorenzo and Aska and Ona, still side by side. These two have been glued together the entire race so far. And as we head through the chicane, this is not easy at all, especially when there are bollards being thrown at your face by one of the cars ahead. And lots of cars littering the exit, as Chris alludes to in my ears. Yaroslav Donlik's unfortunately rolled it. He's at the end of...
He's been there a while, though. He seemingly doesn't want to spectate either.
Well, Gabor is having a lot of fun out the front here. He's opened the gap a lot to the drivers around him, as we have a battle on between Young and Kapal that seems to have been over before it even begun. Young messing up the Dean hairpin somewhat into Yentwood and up to Chapman curve. And yeah, it looks like Fatal is struggling to keep up with the Gutskas, unfortunately, for all of you Fragmasters fans out there. But if you're a Yes Motorsport fan or a Gutskas fan, then it's looking like it's your day so far. 3 seconds the gap to Fatal behind.
Yeah, I saw an overtake at Gracelands. It was Donny for 11th place over Lurcy. Lurcy doesn't want to give up. Oh, he threw the car into Tarzan, and the hubris unfortunately backfires. That's LG Meese profiting from that. So yeah, 12th place for Meese, 13th for Lurcy.
Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of Finnish drivers in the top of this grid. They must love their difficult to handle cars, as we have Owner on Thamuli coming out of the final corner. This is oval turn 4, the run down to the start-finish line. They were side by side going through Gretton, as we've got Michael Malik beached. Have we? Yes, we have. This is on the well, he's spectated, unfortunately. That could have been an incident with Soini we're hearing. Very unusual. Owner is getting a lot of airtime here. He's trying to make a move on Thamuli. Trying to do the switchback out of the Dean hairpin as he runs down to Yentwood, but he's not. Oh, he went for the move extremely late there. That's something reminiscent of the Miami GP at the weekend. That was a very late dive, Eoin.
Yeah, there are a few examples of that we saw in the Grand Prix. Some worked out, some did not. We know who they were.
We do, and that did not work, as Michael Malik is, well, he's not making sandcastles. He's actually escaped from the gravel, but has he burnt his tyres or his clutch or something, because he's not driving anywhere. So he's done all that effort, and, well, he's not going anywhere.
Wait for a gap, I think. He's got the gap. Yeah, he's gone now.
He's got the gap. He's got a lot of gap, but he was waiting for something. Tony and Mikva are fighting on our timing screens, and Tony currently holding on to P10 in his Form 07, and Mikva behind. Meese has rolled it in front of our cameras there. He tried to make a move on, who was he making a move on? Lurcy. Lurcy was making a move on him and tipped him over, so never mind. That's Meese out of the race, unfortunately. He was running a good position there, haven't we?
Yeah, he would have been pleased with his efforts in the first third of the race. Can you believe we're not even, well, probably just over 33% of the way there, and we've lost a chunk of drivers.
Cars, yeah. 14 cars have gone.
Everyone needs to try and calm down now. 15. They've gotten through the hard parts. Try and get some stable lap times in.
Yeah, we can now see every single driver on our timing tower without it needing to rotate. 25 cars remain. And we are watching Gabor from the top of the real-life timing tower that exists at the Rockingham circuit. We've got a camera perched on that, and this would be your view if you were a fortunate seagull or crow, or other birds are available. Quite a peaceful place to watch the race from. I do miss Rockingham. You can see the whole track from the grandstands. The only location in the UK where that's even remotely possible. To get a clear view anyway. As we run down to Tarzan, making this look very, very comfortable, isn't he? I mean, Lugutskas is not able at the moment to turn the screws, but Fatal and Rick Cardle are still right there on Lugutskas as Lugutskas runs a little bit wide and potentially starting to sweat. Lugutskas doesn't need to do anything more than finish where he is at the moment, and he will have this championship wrapped up. There's nothing Fatal can do unless Lugutskas has a big error at this point.
That's exactly right, Pete. He has the championship one handle in his grasp as Jagtila needs to take to the pits.
Yeah, he's been
has
a
penalty,
as you can see.
Speeding penalty.
Yeah, And the pit lane speed limit here is a lot lower than at other tracks, so unfortunately that's a double whammy for Yari. Tony's having a battle with Tatayem. Tatayem was having some lag trouble earlier in the race, but he's got that sorted out, and he's trying to make the move around the outside now then, and he is through on Soini.
Yeah, Soini was wise to know that Brook curve is not really one you can go side by side in. The grass on the outside of the apex is just too dangerous in these kind of cars, but you can certainly attack into oval turn 4. Tatayam has completely missed his corner at Gretton hairpin, and he's going to have to let Timu by for at least a moment anyway. He can now get behind for a slipstream perhaps. Now he's going to hang it high on the banking before his attack begins, but the chicane is really the difference maker here, Pete. He can do whatever he wants until the breaking point, and then he has to readjust if he can.
Yeah, the chicane is a great leveler here because we don't often see it run. The chicane is really difficult. You have to be brave, and sometimes you can be too brave and it ends up costing you.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. Fatal has got a problem of some sort. He's lost 2 positions.
Oh dear.
Big problem.
Well, this is exactly what he does not need. And yeah, you're right. He's been overtaken by...
But the suspension front left has collapsed.
All right, well, we need to have a look to see whether any of the other drivers are suffering with suspension issues. It could have been an unlucky hit on one of the curbs. Of course, this car is pretty delicate, and the handling is pretty tricky, but that's not good. Fatal he's got a lot of the lap to go still before he can get into the pit lane. He's got the long straight here down to Gretton, a hard left-hander, which might be tricky, and then all the way he's got to go around all the way down to pit entry. Yeah, really struggling to get that car turned in. That's Lorenzo who's going to make up a place here. And Fatal, well, he doesn't have a choice. He has to go down the pit lane if he wants any chance of staying in the championship hunt. But that is a pretty unfortunate way for his chances and his championship to end. You can see there the brake lights in this car are actually inside the monocoque shell. They're just hanging off the roof, which is very interesting. As he pulls up into a pit box, the first one, and repairs his car. That's going to be a long pit stop, Owen, and that's unfortunate. Fatal's championship hopes are dashed. Oscar also with shock damage as well as he goes through the chicane. And he's completely missed the Dean hairpin because of it. I don't know if he even realised.
Yeah, Gabor did our job for us. He asked directly to Fatal in chat what happened, and he said, "Yeah, the turn 1 chicane broke my shock absorber." So, well, thank you for the investigative journalism there, Gabor.
While he's driving as well, yeah, I mean, that's fair play. But, you're taking it flat out, and, the curbs there are vicious when you've not got much travel on your suspension, and that's what it does. So these guys need to be especially careful. There's no anti-roll bar in this car, so you have to run pretty stiff suspension if you want it to be stable. And they're absolutely hammering it through that chicane, and a lot of them are now paying the price for that. Yeah,
the amount of forces that they've been putting through into the chicane already has been quite significant. I know, the majority of drivers are okay, but more and more are starting to suffer this critical problem with their absorbers.
This car is wobbling about. He's in a world of trouble. That car's been on its roof several times, or a piano fell on it or something. Thamuli is having a go at Lorenzo. Great drive, another great drive from Thamuli. We've seen performances like this throughout the season, actually. He's been improving time on time. And another good one here at the moment for Thamuli, as he's trying to get past Lorenzo then, around oval turn 4. There's pit lane entry, and as we make the run down to the start-finish gantry, they're going to be neck and neck as we head on to lap 9. Surely not. I thought they were going to go side by side. They both lifted off, both giving each other the corner, but that's just ended up slowing them both down. And, a great move that from Thamuli. And immediately goes wide at Dean and hands the place straight back to Lorenzo, and he needs to be careful of that outside sausage curb. Meanwhile, in the background, that's Unite who's battling with Donny. And the two ahead of him, are still side by side. Let's watch on board from Unite's point of view, Owen.
This is a great opportunity for Unite to make significant gains in this race and become best of the rest. The Hamuli out of Piff Paff, good hit on the bollard there, sending it airborne, and even Iron Donny has a chance. So 4 cars in a queue heading on the steel straight towards Gracelands. Yeah, certainly the Hamuli is in the danger point. He knows he can't test Lorenzo for Tarzan because he's too far back, but Unite has the inside line and just needs to hang on. Yeah, he's done well, and that's a position gain for now. The Hamuli has a good run on the outside, and will he renege on my advice for the Brook curve? Yes, he does back out a little bit.
Had to be careful there.
Yeah.
He had to be so careful not to hook it on the curb. And I just wanted to point out, while this battle's still going on, Thamuli looking for the return here, that Lorenzo had a lockup before that went on for about 3 weeks down into Tarzan. Incredibly long lockup, but he seems to have actually pulled away from these guys, which is incredible. As these 3 exit the Gretton hairpin one more time, Unite has a bit of overspeed, and so that too does Donny and Thamuli. Sorry, yeah, that's Donny on the inside trying to get past Thamuli, and he's done it. He might have a shot at Unite here. This is going to be difficult. Donny's had to... Well, he's backed right out of it, and he's given up a position, in fact, as we head through the chicane.
Oh, Unite had a bumpy ride out of there. His suspension on the rear left is starting to fade now. He's got about 70% damage as Lorenzo doesn't quite get into Dean hairpin as cleanly as he would have liked. He had enough space, though, to recover it.
Yeah, and another massive lockup for him as well as he breaks down into that corner. He's struggling with his brakes, but everybody's struggling with this car. It's proving to be a great challenge for the drivers. Very, very entertaining. Well, certainly for us, but potentially not for half the field. We're down 18 cars since the start, and it's only been 9 laps or 10 laps as we head through Kirby now and onto this steel straight. These 4 packed together, and Lorenzo, well, he's hanging on to P4, but for how much longer? Unite looks feisty.
Yeah, Unite knows this is a great chance to end the season, season 1 on a relative high after his outside shot at the championship. Doesn't look like it's going to pay off just yet, but the Griscast will have to maintain his suspension. He has damaged the front left by 50% or so he has to be really careful now.
He does indeed, because we've almost got like half the race left. He needs to be careful, certainly. And Lorenzo is beginning to be the cork in the bottle for Unite. He's got Iron Donny hounding
collision
him.
between Tatiyam and who was it? Tatiyam did hit someone.
Could have been Jocks, probably.
It was Michael. Michael's lap down or so. He was trying to get past Tatiyam for his own pride, I suppose, and they ended up colliding just a bit, as Tatiyam does have damage to his absorber in the red zone.
Well, lots of drivers having those issues, it seems, as we watch Donny take the chicane. He lifts off with plenty of time. He's following in Unite's wheel tracks, and Unite's messed it up. Unite's messed it up horrendously. He's gone... Yeah, that's a suspension. That's gone, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just about gone now. It's pretty much 99%. It hasn't gone red on the rear left, but certainly 99% damaged.
Yeah, I think the simulation on my end, I think it said it had gone, and then it kind of popped back. So a little bit of physics leveling, I guess. Just throwing me off a bit there. But Unite, well, he has no lives left. He cannot afford to touch a single curb with that suspension, and well, drops a place. He didn't need to take that many risks. The drivers behind were hassling him, but you've got to finish the race first before you start fighting for those positions. And well, he's thrown it in the toilet. Unite down to P6 with a heavily damaged car now.
Yeah, it's the Hamuli behind him now, but that's about a second. It is actually a second and a 10th, or 100th, sorry. So I think Unite can calm it down for a bit, but Donny and Lorenzo, anything but. They will be clawing away at each other, trying to make sure they have the 4th position firmly in their control. We'll see what happens as the fastest lap has been dialed in by Gabor, 1 minute 54.5.
Yeah, nice exit from Donny, and I'm not I don't want to cause any panic just yet, but the Gutskas, well, he's being reeled in. It is undoubtable. If you look at the timing tower, he's being reeled in by Rick Cardle now, of all people. Rick Cardle is not in with a shout of the championship, but he wants to finish this race on a high for the Sidus team. He wants the Gutskas down to P3. We'd sorely like him to be off the podium, but Lorenzo's a bit far back for that, and the Gutskas is far too strong today. Trying to close that 9-second gap now to Gabor. That is domination if ever I saw it. Gabor's already on the steel straight, and the Gutskas is just coming into Kirby.
Yeah, that's as dominant a performance as we've seen in 2022. They were more frequent last season. It was more common to see the one driver braking and sprinting away with everything. This year it's been a lot more competitive, which is ideal for us in the commentary booth. Definitely hits some lag. Can he recover it?
Completely lagging out there.
Very, very touchy. No, he has it. Thankfully.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, he's back. Relief there.
Yeah, curse of the cameraman again for the ZFRL team. Almost, but not quite yet.
Blue flag's out for Rony.
Lorenzo, did you see that? He got really, really wobbly. He dropped a wheel on the grass and almost lost it. Sorry, I interrupted your thought there, Eoin.
No problem, I can understand.
But yeah, he's given Unite a sniff that he might be able to get back into this race, but Unite is clinging on. It's like that suspension arm is hanging on by the tiniest piece of metal, and you can't disrupt it at all in the 5 laps he's got left.
Yeah, an enormous challenge for Unite. He has to mind his components as well as battle with some of his mighty fine competition.
Yeah, let's watch this because he has to avoid all of the curbs in the first chicane, and that's going to cost him a lot of time. It'd be better if we could watch this from our the pigeon position, top of the timing tower. So keep an eye on Rick Cardle behind, not Rick Cardle, sorry, that is Donny behind. Oh, Unites doesn't care, does he? He's absolutely flat out through there, over a sausage curb, and he's managed to catch up to Lorenzo. He's throwing everything at this, and fair play to him. Donny had a good chicane too.
Opens up now. That's superb.
Fair play, yeah.
Hang on into Yentwood here. Lorenzo's having none of it though.
Yeah, that was Yeetwood for Lorenzo there. Great move back. Lorenzo's got it looks like he's got imbalance of his tyre heat. He's hot on one side and cold on the other, so he's good in the infield here around the left-handers. Good on the right-handers rather. And as we go through another left-hander, this is another opportunity for Unite to try and get an advantage. Which way will he go? He's going to try around the outside. Oh, as Lorenzo locks up again. He's been doing that all race long. And, well, he's locked up so much, he might end up with a flat spot and potentially a puncture. It's only a short race, but it is possible. If you keep locking up the same tyre patch, then you can get a shock puncture quite easily. Flat spots breed flat spots. As you see again, oh goodness me, this car looks like a right handful, but it does look like a good laugh as well. These 4 are our closest 4 together, so we're going to stick with these guys. We'll keep an eye on those that squabble between the Gutskas and Rick Cardle ahead, as the Gutskas took the fastest lap away from Gabor, but it's a bit futile with a 9-second gap. But it is Lorenzo who leads this train through the chicane for the 14th time of asking, and Unite's taking too many risks, is he? That's got to be it. That's got to be it. It's not. It lives. Oh, goodness me. He's taking far too many risks, and he's going to lose another 2 places because of it, unfortunately. Oh, is he? Tony's got Lorenzo ahead, and, well, Unite's now fighting back with Thamuli. I thought that was it, Owen. I thought he'd ruined it.
Yeah, I thought the same, Pete. He had to go onto the turn 1 banking to keep himself in the running, but he is down in position. And Iron Donny makes the biggest gains of all. Unite may have missed a gear. He must be driving the stick shift. And the Hamuli can't quite take advantage. Lorenzo lighting up his tires again. Still no give necessarily. Race leader Gabor across the line for lap 15 to begin. He's been absolutely imperious with his suspension preservation there. He's got basically a sliver of damage on his rear right. That's about it, literally 2% or thereabouts. It's been absolutely brilliant to see for him. Just needs to hang on in there for the remaining 3 laps. Then we have the Gusgas just doing his best in second place. He hasn't brought his car into any great danger. It's still a threat, but he seems to have it under control. P3 for Ricardo there. And then Donny, who's best of the rest in fourth, but the battle will rage on to the end. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, Unite has used up all of his lives and some. And, well, he could have been battling for fourth here, but he's currently battling for fifth, as Lorenzo, once again, leaves the longest 11s of anyone. As they head up into Chapman Curve. It's funny, you'll hate me for saying this, but any of you used to drive in Citaliga will remember Michael Weddle, who used to drive for TC Racing, and he left probably the last set of 11s down to the Dean hairpin at Rockingham before it got closed in his Mini Cooper, as Lorenzo heads off.
Oh, that's Gracelands, I'm afraid, yeah.
Yeah, big wobble again, and unfortunately that's going to drop him way down to P7. Yeah, that's not great for him. But yeah, he was doing a good job there in fourth, but unfortunately those tyres have had it. There's something fundamentally wrong with that setup, and it's just not worked for him today. Martin McCarry is in the pit lane. Tatiem is also in the pit lane with shock damage, so going for a last lap almost pit. In fact, it will be the last lap because he'll be overtaken by the leaders. In fact, he's already been overtaken by Gabor. And Martin McCarry, we reckon, might have had a puncture, potentially. He has a fresh right front tyre, so it would check out. Rick Cardle works his way through Piff Paff, probably one of the best corner names in UK motorsport. In fact, it's 2 corners. You've got Piff, and then you've got Paff.
There's a good battle going on for the top 10. It's Lala Roo versus Young versus Fatal, who will be down in the dumps, knowing his race was potentially going to have a top 4 result, but it just evaporated for him. He's got 1 place back, and he now wants Lala Roo into the first chicane.
Ooh, that's a good effort.
Oh, yeah, he's done damage to the rear right.
What's he done? Oh, too greedy. He made the move, but still went flat out and messed up the second part, unfortunately, and that's going to lose him 2, potentially 3 places. Soini is just behind. That can't have done his suspension any good there, Owen.
I think he's survived the worst of it, but he has damaged the rear right by about 15%.
There's a car in the gravel here. That's Migfer. Migfer is stuck, completely stuck on the final lap now.
Oh, puncture. He's punctured his front left.
So that possibly happened as he went down into that corner, and then he's unfortunately beached it in the gravel. He almost got out. He's so close to the exit of that gravel trap, but it's not to be. As onto the final lap and down through the Dean hairpin for the final time comes Gabor for Sidus. He's not going to win the championship, but he's finishing the season on a high, that is for sure. Qualified on pole position by an incredibly large amount, over 3/10 of a second in the end. Migfer has unfortunately retired, but yeah, Gabor heading through Piff Paff now and down into Kirby and onto the steel straight now then for the final time. And in second place, as he goes through Piff Paff himself, if all goes well, the Gutscas will be our champion for 2022 Season 1 of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race. 2022 is looking like a good year for the Gutscas so far. We head into the Tarzan hairpin, navigating the back markers fairly easily. And instead of using the Brook chicane, we turn right at Brook and onto this short straight down to Gretton for the final time. And then out onto the oval, as there is a back marker having something to say about it. Fatal, well, he's not done yet. He's still fighting for positions. He's trying to get past Lalarux and Young in the same corner. That's a good effort.
No.
Oh, we're gonna have to move away from that. That's gone completely wrong. But anyway, Gabor comes across the line now to take the win of the race. But all eyes now on Gutscas. Vitatus Gutscas for Yes Motorsport has had a very, very nice season and wins the 2022 Season 1 of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race.
Yeah, many congratulations to Vitatas. He's been there pretty much since week 1. He didn't win the first race of the season, but he was right in contention, and he's been racking up those points. It just meant no one else could really put in an enormous fight, but of course Fatal was close, but not quite enough.
A few cars finishing here. Thamuli is very, very close behind Unite, but it will be Unite in the end who takes P4 in the race. He started quite a way down, so a good climb for Unite. Thamuli for ZFRL putting in another very nice performance, has to be said, finishing in P5. Donny for Iron P6 and Lorenzo in P7. Well, great job from him. He had trouble all the race with his tyres. A real handful that car turned into, locking it up pretty much every single time he braked for a hairpin. But he managed to keep his tyres alive somehow just until the end. Martin Kapal, we didn't see much of him. He finishes in P8. Here he is.
Yeah, battle across the line. Timu Soini's going to beat out Lalarue by just a car length there. Oh, Lalarue managed to just turn the car and it flipped on its side almost immediately. You have had a collision. It was just earlier in the lap between Fatal and Young. They were at the exit of Dean, made contact and beached. I think Young felt really bad for the incident and just decided to push the stricken Fatal as hard as he could, but it wasn't enough.
Well, they will be classified, and that is everybody across the line to complete our running order. 16 finishes, and Young and Fatal didn't quite make the finish after being punted into the abyss. Tatiem did not serve a drive-through, so he may well be disqualified from this race. But there we are. Gabor wins in 32 minutes, 39 seconds, 0.81, ahead of Season 1 champion Vitalis Gutscas for Yes Motorsport. Then it's the Siders pair of Rick Cardle and Unite in P3 and 4. Thamuli for ZFRL, very nice season he's driven, as well as Donny and Lorenzo. Lorenzo's first season for Race Green. Then it's Martin Kapal, Soini and Lalarue in P10. Lercy, Jocks, Young and Fatal are, well, in fact, Young was our final. Young and Fatal were classified further up because they completed more laps than Oscar, Martin Macari, Tatiem, and Migfa and Rony. Rony finished in P15, but is classified down in P19 after all of that. Then we've got Falamer in P20. And Owen, if you want to do the second page.
Yeah, the second page is unfortunately our scrapyard, graveyard for everybody. These were non-classified runners, starting with Michael there in 21st. Yargtilla also didn't make the finish. Richard, LG Meese, Leandro 911, Iva, Nex, Vina, Kig, Donalik from 21st, 30th, not able to finish. Temperato, Kuril, Pablo, Yerloco, 7-9, T-Bug, owner, Young Tommy B, retired. And then Anonymous, I believe, didn't even make a single lap of today's race. That's really unfortunate.
It is indeed. Sorry for giving you the scrapyard again, Owen. That's only happened a couple of times this season, but there we are. Another very high rate of attrition. But Silas Gabor dominating with a 1:54.34 fastest lap in the end, ahead of Vytautas Lagutskas, who does take the win in the championship overall. Congrats to him. And that's all she wrote for season 1 of this championship. We will be back after the summer for more coverage of RTFR on Sim Broadcasts. But until then, we have plenty of RTFR XL action coming up, as well as the 6 Hours of Kyoto and the Fragmasters GTI Thursday series to look forward to in a few weeks' time. Owen, summaries of today and summaries of the season. Let's reminisce a little bit before we close out for this evening.
Yeah, I suppose the main talking point will be the modifications that have been very well built in this year since they were launched. I have got to stress how well people have done, I think. I know there are some races where we had lots of retirements, but I do believe the competition really stepped up a lot. We saw a variety of drivers and a variety of teams getting an opportunity to win. Yeah, you can see from the beginning there in the beginning of January there. That was also at a variation of Rockingham. Superb stuff there. And then we had the more old school stuff and the old school combos. It was very good to be there for the majority of the running and a worthy champion for season 1 in Vytautas Lagutskas.
Yeah, I echo that, and I think you're right. The introduction of mods to RTFR has thrown a different angle on the championship. I am happy that they're not used every week, so that we can get some of the more traditional LFS cars going. Obviously, the drivers have to do a lot more work if they want to be competitive in a mod that they've never driven before. Whereas it's very easy for most of these drivers to pick up one of the standard LFS cars and drive them around for an hour, half an hour in RTFR. But for me, I think I have to say that my favourite round of the season was with the VKI 6 mod. That was probably one of my favourite races of RTFR. It was a great race, and I just remember that mod providing such close racing as well. Something reminiscent of GTI racing in LFS. So great to see a mod like that. And it ended up being very popular with the drivers. So go and check that mod out, and all the other mods that we used throughout the season. Owen, it's been a pleasure. We're going to go for a summer break for RTFR, but we are back next week for XL, which is going to be, get ready for it, the LX4 at Blackwood Rallycross. Oh yeah, for an hour and a bit.
Absurd.
That's going to be absolutely crazy. Yoni Katilla picked that one, ladies and gents, so you can thank Yoni Katilla for choosing the next combo for XL, which is going to be live on your screens at the same time next Tuesday on Sim Broadcast. We can't wait for it. Well, thanks to Rony. Thanks to Chris McElroy, thanks to Yari Katilla, thanks to Owen and everybody else involved in the preparation and running of this broadcast and the championship. Thanks to you, the viewers, and thanks, of course, to the drivers who turn up week in, week out for our entertainment. And, of course, thanks to, Live for Speed for continuing to provide us this platform to run these races on. Without it, we wouldn't be able to do it. So thanks a lot. Owen, thanks a lot again to you, especially for your company in the commentary box throughout this season 1. And we'll be back to do it all over again in a few weeks' time, just in the middle of summer with season 2. 10 more rounds. Let's do it.
Yeah, bring it on. And see you then, everybody. Have a nice evening.
Yeah, congrats to Vytautas Lagutskas once again. Hard luck to everyone else, especially Fatal in the end. He had a shot, but he couldn't quite make it stick. Better luck next time, Fatal. You've got another 10 races to show us what you're made of. Until then, from all of us here, to all of you, have a great time, have a nice summer, and we'll see you at the next one.